I think you really got to be a strong personality that stands up for yourself. And if you're not a good person, like if you're more analytical and you like to go a different route and you like to escape conversations, or you're uncomfortable having those conversations or crucial conflict, then I think that's where you want to learn more. You want to lean more on somebody else to have that conversation with you.
It's a different set of focus that you wake up with every morning.
Yeah.
And I recommend that they bring in property management like you guys, because quite frankly, you know, I have no patience for you not to have my money.
Yeah.
It's the first of the month.
Right.
Pay. That's it.
You sure?
Pay or you can't stay. We're coming to you live from the new Investor Tribe studio. Today's episode is brought to you by Kentucky Private Lending. Reach out to them today to start your real estate investment journey. KentuckyPL.com. I'm Hampton Skurlock.
I'm Milton Ali, and you know, real estate can be really daunting and sometimes confusing.
We're here to take the guesswork out of that.
Facts.
So join the Investor Tribe. We're here to help.
Today is super cool because on our episode today about leverage and not necessarily doing all the work yourself, like, do you cut your own grass?
When I have to. Yes, but
And I'm the same.
not
Same.
not at the properties. We've got somebody that does them at the properties.
Right. So I used to cut grass at my own properties. I used to just load up the lawnmower in the back of my truck and off I went, because sometimes I couldn't get people to do it in time and I didn't want to get a fine, so I would just load up the truck myself and just cut the lawn, and I would just do it. And what other things, like I did. For the most part, it's kind of crazy, but I do most of my own demos. Like
Get out your frustrations.
Yes, because one of my partners, he's like, man, I love doing the demo. But then what we would do is, what would happen is we would do too much. And so then we ended up spending way more money. We ended up spending way more money on actually the scope, because we overdid it on the demo. So you got to be very careful about that. But leverage is super important in this day and age. I don't think I need to be doing it on my own grass anymore.
And systems and
Yes.
getting employees and scaling.
Yes, and all
very
that.
Important.
And so that leads us to our guest, Clay Smith, today. And Clay Smith, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me here. So Clay Smith started, I own LREI Property Management and Reliability Contracting. I'm a real estate investor today. I've been through a few hundred deals now, and I continue to maintain my own portfolio of rental properties. I continuously buy 3 to 5 houses a month. Is about the pace I've been going for the last few years. And came from a corporate America job, a former U.S. Marine, and a father of 2, and married to a great wife who actually runs the businesses. So I got to give it to her. She's the one that's actually doing the work here on these businesses, and I still get to go out and do my real estate investing at the same time.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for your service. So
Yes.
we're going to get into that here in a bit. We want to ask you a couple questions about your time in the Marines and what you did, or how that translates over to real estate. But probably a good place to start would be, LREI manages properties. I send referrals over to you because I get calls asking if we've got anything open. I say, no, we don't, but call Clay over at LREI. And we just send people over there just because I know you guys will treat them right. You process the applications. I don't know how many properties you're up to, now, but and then you've also got the construction business to get the repairs done and or help out investors and individuals, make home improvements on their properties as well.
Yeah. I think we managed about 1,367 doors was last month's count.
Okay.
For our property management company, and then
And you got to have that off the top of your head.
Yeah. Well, we see the numbers every single month.
He's like 1,367, 68.
Yeah, I feel like more and more I spend time. A lot of the time I spend on the numbers and where the money's at, which is what everybody should be doing in their companies, just watching the dollars.
Awesome. That does make sense. And so
you got 1,300 plus doors, and then you've got Reliability that they do maintenance and repairs on the properties you manage and for other people as well, too, don't they?
Yeah, they're pretty full service. They're licensed in every skilled trade with the exception of HVAC. So master plumber, electrician, lead RRP certified, and then general builder license as well. And then we have we specialize in like a lot of roofing, siding, and excavation work and dirt work. We do a lot of that too. Down at the a lot of that comes down is at the lakefront, site leveling, placing mobile homes, things like that, or we'll do a lot of land clearing, things like that, and demolition of garages.
Gotcha. Okay.
See, I didn't know that. I know you guys did a lot of renovation, and I know you guys did some building there, but I was unaware that there's a lot of, you do your own excavation and earth moving.
Yeah, that's how, when you start with property management, you start just managing these small properties, but you keep going, you go, well, why don't we do this, and why don't we do this, and why don't we in-house this, and that's kind of how property management is as a business itself. It's not real profitable just charging X percent per month. That's kind of lights on, doors open type income. And then where the real income is stop subbing out all the work. Find the work that you have that is repetitive, that where you can hire somebody to service that so you're not paying a higher rate, and then go into that industry. So a lot of growth through just doing more of what you do every day, but doing it in-house.
Yeah, I mean, that does make sense. And so we want to also introduce you guys to our new times. If you notice, we're now on every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. We want you to tune in. You can reach us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can see us, subscribe to our YouTube channel today, and you can catch us every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m.
Yep, new year, new times. Also, join the tribe. Get on the website, invtribe.com. Join the community. We still have a free community available. There's also some paid communities. We'll be doing or upgrading the marketplace, which is a great place to find off-market deals for the year. So that's one of Milton's projects there that's will be newer for the 2026. But thanks for tuning in. We're very glad. Thank you for helping make 2025 a great year, and we can build on that. We've got I don't know if it's time yet, but I feel the wheel calling my name for some reason, Drew.
Oh my gosh, the wheel always calls your name. I'm trying to skip through that part of our podcast, but let's
spin the wheel.
All right, it's time to spin the wheel. And Clay, will you help us do the honors?
Yeah, I'll spin it. Let's go. Ready? Big money?
Big money, big money.
no whammies.
No whammies.
Here we go.
All right, what do we have here?
Kentucky Private Lending.
Kentucky Private Lending shout out.
Oh, of course,
So they're
of
one of our
course. Shout
founding
out
sponsors.
yes, one of our founding sponsors, Kentucky Private Lending. Shout out to Eric Payne and the team over there, Krista Cox. We love them to death. She's the person who's calling us all the time. But it's so amazing just to have them as partners. They fund millions of dollars for the tribe and beyond. And as they're expanding along with us as we open up new chapters in different states, they're joining us, and so it's just super cool to just have them along for the journey.
And they've done some loans to tribe members, to partners of ours.
Yes.
And they're great partners to have. And their website is KentuckyPL.com.
Yep.
So that's the first time we've ever landed on that spot. But nice to give them a shout out here. And then we get back to business. And speaking of websites, I went to yours. Very impressive. A lot of information. It was the LREI website, LREI.com.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the ReliaBuilt website. I saw references to ReliaBuilt, but I didn't go check out that page separately. Is there a separate page for ReliaBuilt?
Yeah, there's ReliaBuiltContracting.com is one of them, and then the LREI one is either the long name, LouisvillePropertyManagement.com, or LREILLC.com.
LREILLC.com. Okay.
And so what we wanted to talk about was the main thrust of our show today, and thank you for joining us, was leverage. And so when you think about leverage, and we've been in a business for years, kind of introduce the concept of why would someone hire a property manager? Oh. And so, just kind of bring us into that a little bit, because we find that, some investors are always looking to save money.
Yeah.
Where's the cheapest I can find? Where is the, how can I save a buck? How can I do it myself? And then they end up presenting as the owner, as the, and then they make mistakes. And next thing you know, they can't collect rent because they're getting a sob story every month. We know this, right?
Yeah.
But so kind of introduce us to the concept of having a good property manager in your life.
Yeah, and a lot of times we like to give an answer that just kind of goes to everybody, but I think, everybody's going to be a little different. So
Right.
speaking in generality, more generally, the type of people that need a property manager are going to be people that just cannot handle a crucial conversation, that can't handle conflict at all, that always come out losing or acquiescing. If you like to just like remove yourself from an argument instead of hanging in there and having that argument, So, I think you really got to be a strong personality that stands up for yourself. And if you're not a good person, like if you're more analytical and you like to go a different route and you like to escape conversations or you're uncomfortable having those conversations or crucial conflict, then I think that's where you want to learn more. You want to lean more on somebody else to have that conversation with you, because a lot of times it's at the end of the day, businesses exist to make money. And so if you have a rental property, everything that you decide to do should be around, is it profitable or is it not? Because it's a business venture. Obviously you want to stay ethical, but you really need to think about, am I going to be able to have this conversation with somebody, or am I just going to give them free rent? Or am I going to just wait for them to trust that they're going to pay me next month? Or am I going to rent to my relative and trust that they're going to pay me? These are situations where you need to be able to remove yourself from being the property manager and have that barrier between you. And especially sometimes even more if you're married and you have a significant other, they might feel more comfortable having a property manager in there. But I'll back up and say in the same breath that if you're an out-of-state investor, you probably need a professional property manager to know what's going on, because transparency is key. You need to have systems and dates and timestamps so that you can see this stuff. So if you're really out there doing it professionally, I think you really need a professional property manager, not just a realtor who's handling it for you, because yes, they're capable, but you also need a level of transparency and communication that just comes with big systems. And so
I definitely agree with that, because as a real estate agent, I've sold over 200 homes, right, in the last 8 years. And one of the things that I have picked up very, very early is that I refer property management out, even for my own property. Yeah. Like I have someone else take care of it. Why? Because my skill set lends to the purchasing and selling and some investing of real estate, right? So I'm helping you buy the property. I'm often helping you do the flip, because that's how I get paid on the other side of it.
Yes.
To rent that property out and to manage the rent is a different skill set altogether.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different set of focus that you wake up with every morning.
Yeah.
And I recommend that they bring in property management like you guys, because quite frankly, I have no patience for you not to have my money.
Yeah.
It's the first of the month.
Right.
Pay. That's it.
You sure?
Pay or you can't stay.
Pay, you can't stay, right?
Right,
so
yeah.
I think it's so important. So kind of speak to why the DIY approach may not work for somebody.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times it doesn't. Well, one thing I did mention is if sometimes people put their relatives in there and they just trust that they're going to pay. And that's a really bad move. Help your relatives out any way you can, but I would not put them in your rental just because you have one. I wouldn't offer that up or even speak about it. Really just find an alternative route, because I see that go south a lot. And then a lot of people that inherit rental properties with no training.
Reluctant.
Yeah. You really need a property manager in that, because you just haven't been trained or you haven't stayed on top of it. But I'll tell you, there are times where people don't need property management, and that's if you're local and you are experienced handling it yourself and you have the time and capacity to do it. It's always less expensive for you to do it yourself than somebody else. Load up your truck, go cut the grass if you have the time.
Right.
But once you get to the point where you found other ways to make more revenue, there's a better way to spend your time. So that's the point where you look at a property manager.
And speaking of renting to family, I've seen firsthand, known a lot of people that have done that and made big mistakes. And for a while there, it seemed every year I was buying a couple houses from people that were wanting to get away from renting to family, or the family were freeloading or staying in the house and they just couldn't take it. They didn't want to have the conflict of evicting them, and a couple times it was the homeowner was letting people live in their basement or letting people live in a bedroom, and they'd rather sell the house and then we have to deal with the people, or sell the house, and that was their excuse to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And about half the time it seemed whenever they were selling a house, they wanted something smaller or without a basement or without as many bedrooms, so these people couldn't freeload or move in with them. They say,
room.
The next place I'm buying, nope, can't help you. Too small, can't do it. And it's kind of sad to see, but I guess, like you said, not everybody wants to deal with the conflict, and sometimes the path of least resistance was just to sell it and try to salvage a relationship. But it can be very, very frustrating on the pocketbook and emotionally to deal with family members that aren't paying
Spoke Marketing is an end-to-end company that really caters to the needs of small businesses. On the ribbon cutting committee for new businesses, I saw so many businesses open. And then 3 months later, after, hooray, congratulations, you opened, shutting their doors. I thought to myself, I really can't just sit around knowing what I know and not do something about that. There's only two reasons that those businesses might fail. Either they don't know how to run a business or they don't know how to get clients. So I opened up Bespoke Marketing. So from end-to-end productions to billboards, broadcast commercials, radio shows, social media management, we have you covered.
Clay, what we wanted to pick your brain about today also, I've been, we knew you were having you on, and we're just like, help us all out today with what are some of the best properties or areas or best properties, some best practices, maybe three that our investors should look to buy or that you find are the best for rentals.
Yeah, I think having seen everybody's books and everybody's financials across, all of our software, I get a peek at how everybody's portfolio performs. I personally think if you're real estate investing for buy and hold, that you really need to be in the lowest, least expensive property in the whole city. That you really need to be in something that is just probably the cheapest thing in your market and lean into it. A lot of people are uncomfortable, but that's where you need to be.
So you're in a D and E area?
Oh yeah, if there's a never heard of E, but I'm probably in the E area. Yeah.
E for easy.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. Average price of the homes that I've been buying in that area that I like, I'm paying between $15,000 and $40,000 for these houses generally, and I'm probably putting $40,000 to $60,000 renovation in them. So the more renovation you can do, the more value you can add to a house, pretty much. So. But that's where I like to be. I mean, these houses, I'm all in less than $100,000 every time, and those are the ones that make good rentals.
Wow! And so, what are the top three things that I'm looking for when it comes to property types? Are you looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bed, or does that matter?
1-story, 2-story, brick, sided.
Well, I think a lot of people out there listening are probably on the BRRRR strategy. So if you're on the BRRRR strategy, you're really focused. Your biggest focus is, and you're getting loans at a bank. Your number one metric is your number one KPI is going to be your debt service ratio, because it's got to be lendable, and you need to remain lendable. And the goal is, if you're doing this and you're going at it professionally and you're scaling, you've got to get more or the same amount of money back that you put in every single time, preferably more, so you're building your operating capital. And so that's how you're going to be able to scale and do more deals and not have to borrow so much money. You're going to lend it to yourself as you go to scale up. So I think you really need to be focused on buying those properties that meet your debt service ratio coverage. And so for me, the 2-bedroom, the 3-bedroom, those are great. Sometimes I've had plays where I've had 5 or 6. A lot of the value buys are going to be where you buy a 2-bedroom and you make it a 3-bedroom, because the appraisal's higher. You're going to get more money back. You're going to get higher rent. You bought it as a 2-bedroom valuation, but now you've got a 3-bedroom. When you go to appraise it, that's instant value, and that's more cash that you're more likely to get cash back and put in your operating income.
So the way you look at it is you buy and then there's value add.
Yeah.
So that's the only way you look at buying?
Yeah, that's the only sustainable. I mean, that blueprint is old. That's what people have
very
been
much
doing.
So, but so many times I'm so if you're in that D area and you're thinking, where will my talent go out there?
Yeah.
I have to find a different set of talent to address that area.
Yes.
There is some security, dynamics I have to work through, making sure that my materials are okay. I got to make sure that the area is okay for my talent to work in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Because I've had deals where I've been in D and E areas, and everything, even stuff that we didn't think would be stolen, was stolen.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, okay, well, all right, we didn't know. Okay, y'all needed the doorknobs that bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've had windows stolen. Like, we just was like, okay, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We just starting out, we just didn't know any better, right? And so, what are your thoughts to that?
So my contracting company, well, yeah. So I operate 2 separate crews. The people who do my renovations on the real estate investments that I buy are not the people that do the real estate that do the renovations for our customers. They're not the people. They're not the same people. There are some overlaps, but for the most part, you're looking for a different person. So for real estate investing, I'm really looking for somebody that's going to go out there, and they might have trouble showing up to work every day, but they're really skilled, so they can't hold a really good job. But there's no reason not to hire them and deal with them. You know, as long as they can get there 80% of the time, that's fine. So you're not going to remove them just because they don't show up to work that day. You're going to continue to work them as long as it's profitable for you, and it's a win-win. Some people just can't keep that balance of life, and they're not going to make great employees. You can't put them out there working for other people and build a business around them. But yeah, for real estate investing, those people work out great in those areas, in those neighborhoods. And so it's all about the value add. For me, it's all about the cash flow. There's no appreciation really in this. The average rental that in my professional opinion, I think it takes 7 years before you cash flow on a real estate deal that you buy and then leverage out at 80%. I think 7 years is about the benchmark where I would say now you're going to be cash flowing and not losing money every month. There's certain things you need to be doing along the way to generate that cash, to keep it afloat till that point where your principal takes over and you refinance again and then you've made it. But it's going to take you quite a while if you take out all the money that you can every time that you do this. But you will have more money in the bank, in the cash sitting in the bank, but you're going to have to service the debt.
And you mentioned, a lot of the houses you're buying, they're $15,000 to $40,000 houses. Now, many times you're going in, you're putting a lot of more money into this house. But when I hear that price range, I've had people tell me, I had a renter that came and looked at one of my properties. She goes, I thought you were going to be a slumlord because I saw you bought this property for $35,000.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's what Zillow says, but we've got more than that in the repairs and the roof and the windows and the central, all this work that's been done to it. So there may be, how do you deal, or does it bother you if somebody said slumlord because you're buying cheaper houses, or do you just let that roll off you?
Yeah, no, it has no bearing on me. For me, if you're living there and it's a slumlord house, like at the time, and so I buy some properties where people don't move out. They foreclose and they still live there and they pay me. They continue to stay. And now I'm not going to go take that to a traditional bank and go to get a loan on it. I'm going to probably get a line of credit on it. And I'm just going to use my line of credit until they move out, and then I have to turn it, and then I'll go put in some fixed financing in place. But the cash flow will still be there for me, and that's just fine. And I still have access to that money. I didn't lose it. And when they call for a maintenance, my discussion with those people are, listen, if there's a problem with the property, I'm not doing maintenance on it. Like right now, you're getting it for X dollars, which is way below what it would be if I renovated this thing. So I'll keep the value for you there as long as you like the house. But no offense, when you don't like it or it doesn't suit you anymore, find another place. I can help you find another place. You'll have to pay market rent. But then I'll go in and make the repairs. But I'm not going to come in and make repairs on a house that's just, it's not going to spend trips out here to fix a bathroom on a house that's halfway falling down and you still want to live here. We have an agreement as long as you agree and I agree, but that's it, And it's not being a slumlord, it's just being realistic on what I'm willing to do, and they're getting a great value, and I'm not putting money in it because I can't. It's not sustainable for me.
Right.
Until they found another place. Yeah. Or because you can't go in and do a full construction rehab on a property while they're still living there and trying to eat dinner in the kitchen, and you got guys and crews tearing out walls and try to fix everything.
Yeah, sure. A roof, windows, that's fine, but the rest of it, really you got to be able to recapture all the money you put in these houses, and so every dollar you spend there is just kind of not coming back to you until you refinance.
Yeah. And so, thank you for that. And what we're going to do is here at the Investor Tribe, we have core values. And what makes the core values so important is that every organization, every tribe has a value system in how we treat others and how we treat people and how we go to work every day. And what I'm going to open it up for is just sharing one of our core values. And I'm going to be doing this a lot more through our podcast. In season 2 here, we're super excited to just kind of peel back a little bit about what's the tribe and what happens when you join a tribe and what are some of the things that we talk about in our education and in our in-person meetings. And the first core value that we have on our list is wealth is work. And so we reject the idea of easy money. We realize that wealth is built, not wished for. It requires focus, sweat, sacrifice, and systems. We sharpen each other like iron, and we play to win. And that's so important to our core values. We're not here to give you the easy here, and we want you to be able to learn from others, and if you know it, to teach others. And so what say you guys about
It's right on. We're here to help, and it's not easy. It's maybe simple. I tell people, somebody's real estate can be simple, but it's not easy. So everybody would be doing it. Everybody may want to do it, but not everybody takes the risks, puts the money, puts the time and effort involved to do it, and that kind of goes along with you're building wealth. You're not just wishing for it. You're taking action, and wealth is work.
We definitely agree with that. And so when you're thinking about, like, because you have years of experience, Clay. I mean, you have a lot of experience and you own a company. But if you were starting out today and you had your 9 to 5, like a lot of people in our tribe, they're starting out, they watch our program, and I'll just shoot straight here, only 1 to 2% of people that watch our program ever take real action.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just YouTube videos in general.
Yes. Not even ours. Just YouTube videos in general.
We love you guys.
We love you. You guys are better. Yes.
Everybody
I'll be clear about
there.
that. Yeah. But I'm not. I'm just saying this is generally speaking, not just people that watch us, not just people that are around, but a good only 1 to 2% actually really take action. And if you want to be part of that, what would you suggest if you were just starting off today?
Wow. So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there that y'all are talking about when you go into like core values, and the Marine Corps was honor, courage, and commitment. And so
that's right. Simplify.
And courage and commitment really transition into the space where I got into, and then I coupled that with a lot. There's a great TikTok where just showing Nick Saban when he's at Alabama talking about expectations versus goals, expectations, goals, and processes. And he preaches a lot about processes and expectations. Or goals are these things that you set for yourself or people set for you, like a parent expects you to clean your room. You're not happy about that, or you come to me and you tell me I'm going to buy 10 rentals this year. Well, that's your expectation, but how are you going to get there? And so it's more about your process. So what are you going to do? What are you going to wake up every day and do that's going to get you to where you want to be? So when I wake up every morning, and what I would say that everybody out here needs to be doing is keeping track or having a commitment, or when you go to the gym, you have a buddy that's there, you're gonna be more successful.
Love that. And so we are definitely glad that we can have you on. We want you back because we got more stories. We got people need property management and just don't know it.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's super cool to be able to have people subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube. I mean, we are growing. We are more people. It helps the algorithm. It helps more people. This message reach more people. And we want you to skip the guesswork. Join Investor Tribe. Go to invtribe.com. Go to invtribe.com. You can sign up today. It is absolutely free. And I'm Milton Ali.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock.
And we want you to skip the guesswork and join the tribe. Peace out.
The Investor Tribe podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, financial advisors, or licensed tax professionals. The opinions expressed by our hosts and guests are their own and should not be taken as legal, financial, or investment advice. All investments carry risk, including loss of principal. Always do your own due diligence, consult qualified professionals, and make informed decisions based on your unique situation.
The Investor Tribe podcast is brought to you by the Investor Tribe, all rights reserved, featuring Hampton Scurlock and Milton Aldi, executive producer Drew Cookenmaster, produced and distributed by Bespoke